Offshore accident attorneys. Suffering an injury while at work can be stressful, confusing, and traumatic experience for anyone. Your example, or your employer may not be making the effort you expect to ensure you well-being. Oftentimes, employers and insurers use underhanded techniques to get offshore workers to settle their cases quickly. That's why it's important to speak to a knowledgeable offshore injury attorney who can advise you of your right under maritime. Need an offshore injury lawyer. Have you been injured in an offshore maritime accident? The ocean is the most dangerous workplace on the planet. US maritime industries are found in nearly every state, employing more than 400,000 workers across the nation. Maritime workers find employment in the variety of fields such as shipyards, marine terminal, fishing, aquaculture, seafood processing, commercial driving, and maritime or marine transportation. According to the Centers of the Diseases Control, maritime works for a higher risk of fatality, injury, and illness than the average American worker. From slips and falls to equipment failures, collisions, fires, and unsafe work practices and negligence, offshore injuries usually require costly medical care, sometimes long term, and catastrophic injuries can mean an injured worker who relies on his or her physical ability may not be able to return to work. This can be devastating for families, particularly if the worker is sole breadwinner can no longer earn a living. Offshore injuries are covered by laws. They are different from those that apply to the landed based workers. If you are someone who loves has been injured or fallen in while working offshore, you very encourage you to get in touch with the experienced offshore injury attorney at Montanga Maritime Law as soon as possible to request for your free case evaluation. Types of offshore injuries are when a offshore worker takes an employment in the maritime industry, it's understood the job is physically demanding and comes with inherent risks that are far more dangerous compared to land-based work. Injuries are common and range from the very minor to the horrific, and even death in cases. In many cases, minor injuries can become much more significant over time. Some of the most types of offshore injuries include a traumatic brain injury. TBIs can be sustained in any number of ways. Offshore workers are consistently putting themselves in construction industrial like environment. A blow to the head from a slip or fall, the being struck by swimming or unsecured cargo can cause traumatic brain injury. This can result in a permanent cognitive or a personality changes. Spinal and back injuries, slips and falls, loss of hearing, loss of limbs, crushing injuries and broken bones, hypothermia and frostbite, drowning, lung damage, fatalities, claiming compensation for offshore injuries like lost earnings, medical expenses, paining, and suffering. Choosing the right offshore attorney is basically if you have been injured in an offshore accident, it's critical that you have an experienced maritime offshore injury lawyer, but decide who can fight aggressively for your legal rights. Maritime attorneys are skilled litigators who understand federal and state maritime laws and international agreements and have sound judgment when it comes to the